Hello there, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome back. Today, we're going to be watching and reacting to a little video here on the War of Canudos. I believe that's how you pronounce it. Canudos? Canudos? I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce it. Anyways, the War of Canudos, from my understanding, is a Brazilian war that happened in the late 1800s. I don't know too much about it, to be 100% honest with you, to be brutally frank with you. It was it was a war that took place in Bahia, and that's about the extent that I know. So I want to learn a little bit more about it. This video was the one that was probably the most recommended when I was searching to learn more about this war. Also know the War of the Canudos, also known as the War of the End of the World. I did not know that. Was one of the most tragic episodes in Brazilian social history, led by a cult leader, Antonio Conselheiro. 25,000 people are supposed to have massacred in 1897 by the Brazilian army. What? In the arid backcountry of the state of Bahia, this horrific tragedy has at least inspired two enormous pieces of literature. This one's right here, and a Nobel Prize winner. So these are I'm going to be honest with you. I cannot pronounce Portuguese words for the life of me. Euclides de Cunha and La Guerra de Fin del Mundo. I don't know. Holy heck! What? It was led by a cult leader. 25,000 people died. Okay, well, I guess that leads a little bit more credence to the reason why I want to learn about this. So there's a game coming out, a dark fantasy twist on this war. I'll just pull it up right here, called Hell Clock. Yeah, it's a action RPG, dark fantasy Brazilian game. But if it's like cult leaders and it's known as like the war at the end of the world or something, the war of the end of the world. I guess this makes sense now. This makes way more sense when I see a little bit more about this. So I'm interested in this game. That's why I want to learn. Before I play the game, I want to learn the true story behind it so I have a better understanding of the medium. So, with that being said, the link to this video will be in the description down below, so please go and check it out. The War of the End of the World. Wow. Okay, well, let's get the video started, yeah?
Vamos almoçar em Canudos? Vamos almoçar em Canudos? Vamos almoçar em Canudos? Ele foi almoçado em Canudos, foi isso que aconteceu. Cano, venha ver o Brasil entrar pelo cano em Canudos.
Come see Brazil go down the drain in Canudos?
Nada como morar num lugar manso e pacífico, o lugar do homem cordial, um país brando. Tá certo que de vez em quando tem um massacrezinho aqui e outro, né? O Carandiru, o Contestado, Canudos. Canudos. Uma das mais trágicas e terríveis histórias do Brasil. Pelo menos acabou virando uma obra-prima da literatura mundial, né? Os Sertões de Euclides da Cunha. Mas é um preço muito...
Tragedies do typically lead to good stories, unfortunately.
Muito alto para pagar por tanta vida, né? A história começa, é claro, no solo infértil e fecundo para tragédias do sertão da Bahia. Era uma crise generalizada. Os engenhos tinham entrado em decadência, tinha tido o fim da escravidão, havia um monte de gente perambulando e tinha tido em 1878 a terrível seca de 1878 que só no Ceará matou 100 mil pessoas.
100,000 people.
1878, a terrível seca de 1878.
This drought, okay.
Que só no Ceará matou 100 mil pessoas. Foi nesse solo fecundo para tragédias que começou um nômade a viajar por ali. Viria a se chamar Antônio Conselheiro, porque o nome dele, claro, era outro antes. Era Antônio Maciel. Ele é o que se pode chamar de um loser. Tinha dado tudo errado na vida do cara. Ele tinha sido
Everything had gone wrong in the guy's life.
professor,
He's a
tinha sido
loser.
demitido, tinha sido vendedor ambulante, não tinha dado certo, tinha sido abandonado pela mulher e ele se tornou uma seta.
Sounds like my life. Damn.
Se tornou uma espécie de cangaceiro místico,
Except for the mystical bandit
pelo
part.
mar areento do sertão. Estava à deriva naquele mar quando começou a juntar uma série de seguidores. Ele sugeria que as pessoas reconstruíssem os cemitérios que estavam abandonados, que caiassem de branco as igrejas e que levassem uma vida de meditação e de ascetismo. Pois em 1890, meu chapa, ele já tinha 8.000 seguidores. Ele
How does that happen? How does that happen? How does someone build up such a huge following?
era tão magro que o Mário Vargas Llosa, o grande escritor peruano, que escreveu um livro também sobre Canudos, diz que ele parecia estar sempre de lado, de tão magro que o sujeito era, porque ele de fato se tornou um asceta. E ele acabou encontrando um porto seguro naquele mar de areia do sertão da Bahia, numa fazenda abandonada chamada Monte Belo, que depois viria a se chamar Canudos. Ali ele criou um arraial que acabou virando um outro Brasil, acabou virando uma utopia evangélica. Nesse arraial, que acabou tendo 5.200 casas, onde moravam 20.000 pessoas, eles criaram uma espécie de utopia evangélica mesmo, porque
They straight up built essentially like this weird little like Catholic evangelical country separate from Brazil. Then 20,000 people is no joke, right? 20,000 people is a lot of people. That is a huge amount of people.
as roças eram coletivas, eles plantavam milho, plantavam mandioca, plantavam feijão e começaram a criar cabra. E com o couro da cabra, com a carne da cabra, com o queijo da cabra e com o leite da cabra, eles se tornaram autossustentáveis. Os couros de cabra de Canudos chegaram a ser exportados para os Estados Unidos. E o arraial começou a florescer. A sombra do poder central, a sombra do Brasil, a sombra de um Brasil que nunca se interessou pelos seus desvalidos. O líder em conteste daquele local era justamente o Antônio Conselheiro, o homem que dava conselhos. Tudo parecia ir bem quando, no fim de 1895, o conselheiro comprou uma grande partida de madeira, de novas toras de madeira, para construir uma igreja ainda maior do que ele já tinha feito. Ele pagou a madeira e a madeira não foi entregue. Não entregaram a madeira. Aí, os seus seguidores disseram, nós já pagamos a madeira, a gente quer a madeira. Isso foi em Juazeiro. É importante, inclusive, salientar que Juazeiro era a maior cidade do norte da Bahia, tinha 3.000 habitantes. Salvador tinha 20.000 habitantes.
I can't read that.
Canudos tinha 25.000 habitantes. Então, eles disseram, nós vamos a Juazeiro pegar essa madeira na marra. Aí, a elite de Juazeiro, o prefeito de Juazeiro, o chefe da polícia de Juazeiro, já começaram a dizer, os fanáticos virão aqui pegar a madeira só porque já pagaram pela madeira e não receberam, eles querem a madeira deles. E aí fizeram uma força policial com 100 homens para enfrentar os sertanejos que vieram buscar sua madeira, porque de fato foram 300. Aí deu um confronto entre eles, morreram 150 sertanejos. E morreram apenas 10 soldados e 16 ficaram feridos. Mas foi considerado uma afronta ao Exército Nacional. Fora que, um pouco antes, o conselheiro já tinha rasgado vários panfletos do recém-surgido regime republicano.
This is one of the Diablo, the devil?
Recém não, né? 1889. A República, nós já estamos em 1895, portanto, 6 anos, mas é muito próximo, né? Inclusive, a notícia demorou um tempão para chegar lá no Arraial de Canudos. O conselheiro se dizia monarquista, especialmente porque havia tido com a República a separação entre a igreja e o Estado. E o conselheiro era totalmente favorável a um Estado religioso e não a um Estado laico. Além de tudo, mudaram os impostos municipais por causa da República e começaram a cobrar impostos impostos lá em Canudos. O conselheiro disse, vocês nunca me deram nada, agora querem que eu pague imposto, né? Então já começou essa fermentação que eclodiu nesse confronto que começou por causa de uma deslealdade comercial por parte de um vendedor de madeira de Juazeiro, né? Mas como os caras acabaram matando esses 10 soldados e ferindo outros 16, as forças policiais da Bahia e o próprio exército resolveram reagir atacando Canudos. E foram atacar Canudos. Então, alguns meses depois desse ataque, que foi em agosto de 96, em novembro de 1896, o exército enviou, coordenado pelo Tenente Febrônio, bom nome, né? Tenente Febrônio.
Another error.
Uma partida de 583 soldados para atacar em Canudos. E no dia 24 de janeiro de 1896 levou uma surra dos sertanejos, porque eles já tinham sido avisados que os caras iam atacar, emboscaram ele num despenhadeiro, num vale na chegada de Canudos e desbarataram e botaram em fuga os 583 soldados do Tenente Febrônio. E os caras fugiram deixando as armas deles para trás. Ou seja, os sertanejos passaram a ter armas melhores do que as que então tinham. Bom, virou um escândalo, a história chegou no Rio de Janeiro, né? Disse, monarquistas estão atacando o honroso Exército Nacional, é preciso reagir. O que o Prudente de Moraes, que já então estava sendo chamado pela imprensa republicana de prudente demais, porque não tinha tomado as atitudes corretas para dizimar aquela gentalha miserável, aqueles nordestinos infelizes, aqueles evangélicos desgraçados, por que o presidente não reage? Aí o presidente chamou quem? Chamou quem? Chamou o Moreira César, cara. Chamou o Moreira César. Quem era o Moreira César? Moreira César era um coronel do Exército que já tinha tomado parte na revolta da Armada, combatendo a revolta da Armada, né, que era a revolta da Marinha e o Exército combateu logo no início da República. Já tinha assassinado um jornalista com uma facada pelas costas, porque o jornalista falava mal do Exército Brasileiro. E depois tinha participado...
There's a lot. I'm like, it's like I'm trying to absorb all this information. There's a lot of information here. So essentially, what happened was, okay, so this the Canudos people wanted to buy some timber. The timber wasn't delivered. They went to the town. There was a scuffle with the policemen there. Some of the Canudos died. Some of the policemen died. The policemen being killed caused the army to be upset. They got sent out there. The Canudos knew ahead of time. They ambushed them, caused them to flee, and now it's building up and up and up and up and up because there's like propaganda going on that these are like supporters of like the previous monarchy. Is that what's happening here? As far as like these particular people, I like this. The specifics of these people are kind of going over my head. I'm really rusty on my Brazilian history. So when it comes to like individuals, it's a little rusty for me. Da repressão à revolta federalista de 1893 na ilha de Santa Catarina, né? Mandando matar 49 pessoas em execuções sumárias e fuzilamentos, porque tinham se revoltado contra o governo do Floriano Peixoto e ainda por cima mudou o nome da capital da ilha de Santa Catarina, que era a cidade do Desterro, para Florianópolis, o nome do algoz. Aliás, como é que Florianópolis continua mantendo o nome Florianópolis? Mas esse é outro assunto. Outro assunto aí. He's got a lot of energy. My man here has a lot of energy.
Ainda é que esse Moreira César era epilético. Tipo eu, assim, epilético, o Moreira César. Aí, o Prudente Moraes chamou o Moreira César, vai lá e disse, destrói aqueles caras, arrasa aqueles caras, trucida aqueles caras. E o Moreira César foi pra Bahia, saiu aqui do Rio de Janeiro, com 1.500 homens, com 15 milhões de cartuchos e com 6 canhões Krupp, recém-comprados da Alemanha, para arrasar aquela gente. Chegaram em Salvador se dirigiram até o interior lá, demoraram um tempão e aí chegaram nas proximidades de Canudos. O que aconteceu? Em março de 1897, eles enfim chegaram nos arredores de Canudos, em Monte Santo, olha o nome do lugar, pertinho de Monte Belo, e aí o Moreira César disse: vamos almoçar em Canudos. Achou que era um lanche, né? Ele com 1.500 homens, com 15 milhões de cartuchos, com 6 canhões.
So he thought he was gonna just roll in there like it was no big deal. 1,500 men, 1,500 men, 15 million rounds, 6 cannons.
Barará, barará. Só que daí ele teve um ataque epilético. É verdade, não é piada. Ele teve um ataque epilético antes, tiveram que cancelar a primeira ordem de ataque. Ele se recuperou do ataque epilético e teve outro ataque epilético no sentido metafórico agora, e resolveu atacar Canudos e disse: vamos atacar com baionetas, nem precisa gastar bala com esses caras. E entrou naquele labirinto de ruelas e casebres de Canudos, os caras estavam tudo tocaiado lá, meu chapa, e dizimaram a tropa do Moreira César, e ele levou um tiro na barriga, cara. Ficou agonizando durante 12 horas, o miserável, antes de morrer. Morreu, está no inferno, não há dúvida. E aí ainda disse: se eu sobreviver, vou renunciar ao exército, vou me demitir do exército por causa dessa humilhação.
So he went in there and instead of using the guns, he just said, we'll go in there and hit him with the bayonets, the little swords on the tip of the rifle, right? He was so cocky about this conflict that he forego every single advantage that he had, and it ended up in him losing. Okay.
Humilhação total e completa mesmo. Perderam de novo, 3-0 para Canudos. Canudos 3, Brasil 0. Bom, aí abril de 1897, quando chega essa notícia no Rio de Janeiro, as pessoas, os republicanos, os jacobinos, invadem os jornais, 2 jornais monarquistas, matam o diretor de redação de um desses jornais, matam o editor de um outro jornal desse. É uma confusão total. Vamos, exigimos a destruição completa, absoluta de Canudos. Aí, em agosto de 1897, o próprio ministro da guerra, o tal Marechal Carlos Bittencourt, que depois seria morto, você já viu isso aqui, Não Vai Cair no Enem, no episódio O Vice-Golpista, tá aparecendo aqui em cima, ó. Veja o vice-golpista, veja o vice-golpista.
I don't know what he's saying here.
É o cara que tentou salvar o Prudente de Moraes e acabou morrendo. E o próprio ministro da Guerra foi para Canudos. E nessa expedição foi também o jornalista Euclides da Cunha, que trabalhava para o jornal Estado de São Paulo, e foi com a certeza de que ia documentar o fim de uma insurreição de monarquistas, de inimigos do governo. Chegando lá, ele percebeu o que estava acontecendo. Era um confronto entre o Brasil das elites, o Brasil urbano, o Brasil que nunca entendeu seus desvalidos, contra um Brasil de pobres e miseráveis que tinham deixado de ser pobres e miseráveis e tinham encontrado um outro jeito de sobrevivência numa espécie de Brasil alternativo. Ele percebeu isso e ele viu todo um massacre, porque daí eles foram atacados em agosto, setembro de 1897. No dia 22 de setembro de 1897, o conselheiro morreu, provavelmente de desinteria. Daí o Arraial botou uma bandeira branca. Não, e os caras ainda levaram um canhão chamado a Matadeira. Botaram o canhão em cima de um lugar que chamava Morro da Favela. Morro da Favela. E pum, com um canhão gigante para atacar lá Canudos. Bom, dizimaram Canudos, mataram todo mundo, 25 mil mortos, cortaram a cabeça do conselheiro, que foi levada para ser estudada pelo cientista Nina Rodrigues, um cara famoso no estudo da escravidão e tal. Vai ver quem é o Nina Rodrigues, que estudou o cérebro do conselheiro.
They cut off his head and sent it to be studied, his brain to be studied, after slaughtering 25,000 people.
E concluiu que o cérebro do conselheiro era normal. O que não era normal é o cérebro de outras pessoas, né, cara? Aí, esse conflito, claro que ficaria registrado para a história, mas ele não tomaria a dimensão épica, a dimensão homérica que tomou, porque ele encontrou o seu Homero, né? O seu equivalente a um poeta homérico no Euclides da Cunha, que escreveu o extraordinário livro Os Sertões, na qual ele escreve: trata-se de um crime, Vamos denunciá-lo. E ele fez esse livro Denúncia, e hoje a história de Canudos sobrevive no imaginário, só que o Brasil ainda não mudou o suficiente para que possa conviver em plena harmonia com esses dois Brasis tão distintos. Então é um fim meio para baixo esse, né? Mas é que o episódio é meio para baixo, né? De qualquer forma, leia Os Sertões e continue, evidentemente, ligado no canal Buenas Ideias. Tchau. Vou chorar no canto. O que você acaba de ver está repleto de generalizações e simplificações. Mas o quadro geral era esse aí mesmo. Agora, se você quiser saber como as coisas de fato foram, então você vai ter que ler.
Okay. All right. So, wow. I was not yeah, this is not something that I knew about like whatsoever. 25,000 people. Hold on. Before we read the comments, I want to read a little bit more on this. So, War of the Canudos was a conflict between the First Brazilian Republic and residents of Canudos, northeastern state of Bahia. It was waged in the aftermath of the abolition of slavery in Brazil and the overthrow of the monarchy. The conflict arose from a millenarian cult led by Antonio Conselheiro, who began attracting attention around 1874 by preaching spiritual salvation to the poor population of Sertão, a region which suffered from severe droughts. So we saw that the droughts had killed 100,000 people previous, yeah. Cosanero and his followers came into conflict with local authorities after founding the village of Canudos. The situation soon escalated with Bahia's government requesting assistance from the federal government, who sent military expeditions against the settlement. So military expeditions, yeah, so they were branded as monarchs by the press. So what it comes down to, it's a misrepresentation of the people. So these are poor, impoverished, broken people that have gone through extreme hardship. They found salvation in this man Antonio Conselheiro. They found salvation in the religion, right? And then the press, obviously the media. You gotta blame the media on everything. We're true though. The media is pretty bad sometimes. Label them as monarchs, which at the time, Brazil had just became a republic. Not too previous before, yeah, 1889. So that was hot on the mind, right? They sent the military in. The first wave, they got ambushed, defeated, sent back. So they went in and just slaughtered everybody. Slaughtered every single person. Wow. The conflict came to a brutal end October 1897 when the fourth and final expedition, led by General Arthur Oscar, with a large fraction of the Brazilian army, was deployed to bombard and overrun the settlement, raze it, and slaughter nearly all of its inhabitants. 12,000 soldiers did... Oh, no, that was the strength? Oh. Okay, casualties and loss. So less than 5,000 Brazilian army and police officers died. 25,000 Canudos died. Only 150 survived. Wow. That's wild. That's wild. This is the ruins of the church after the destruction of Canudos. That's the giant cannon, the killer cannon. Aftermath. It was eventually determined that Antonio Conselheiro himself had likely died of dysentery on 22nd of September before Canudos was burned down and dynamited. Conselheiro's body was exhumed and its head was removed, and it was displayed on a pike. held high at the front of the military parade for all to see. According to Peter Robb, it was taken to the medical facility of Bahia to be studied for abnormalities. When all resistance ceased and peace was restored, only 150 survivors remained. Estimates for the number of dead in the War of Canudos vary. This one estimates the 30,000, 25,000 residents, 5,000 tankers died. Also gave the estimate. So yeah, so this estimate is pretty well received. This one says around 15,000 people. Gives a lower figure of around 15,000. Joel Singer estimates only 5,000 died. So, but I mean, two people estimated around this 30,000 death mark, right? Let's see. Euclides de Cunha did not see the fighting, but did bear witness afterward. Robb says, and his obsession with the progress of modernity, the scientific racism that told him the people of the northeastern interior were doomed to backwardness by their mixed race, led him to tell a story filled with preconceptions, which is, however, the only story we have. Barbara Salarent described Euclides de Cunha's point of view of the war as tragic encounter between atavistic barbarianism and modern civilization, where civilized itself reverted to barbarianism. According to Walnes, one of the most important results of the war was the complete solidification of the Republic regime and the final exorcism of the specter of monarchical restoration. But over time, public opinion underwent a striking about-face about the danger of monarchist conspiracy. The desperately poor peasants had been fighting by themselves without help and had no connection whatsoever with the real monarchists, white upper-class urbanites who were horrified at the very thought of associating with such riffraff and fanatics. The war turned out to have been an inglorious massacre of destitute wretches, in which the military had made a common practice approved by the commanders of typing up prisoners and beheading them in public. Tying up prisoners and beheading them in public? What? That's crazy. Although the original town of Canudos has been covered by the reservoir of Cocorobo Dam and built by the military regime in the 1960s, the Canudos State Park, established in 1986, preserves many of the important sites and serves as a monument to the war. The stated purpose of the park is to make it impossible to forget the martyrs led by Antonio Calcinero. So this must be at the park then. Man. I had no idea. I had no idea. So really at the core, at the crux of this all, the real issue is the media. So yeah, right here. Branded as monarchist by the press, with authorities seeing the settlement as a threat to recently proclaimed Brazilian Republic. So it's the press. The press is what led to such, so many rumors spreading right here. Rumors spread that the inhabitants of the Canudos were planning to depose the new Republic government and restore the monarchy, when in actuality, that was nothing. They were just trying to live their life. They were just trying to live their life, and the press, the media, painted this narrative so they can get, sell their newspapers, basically, right? Let's read some of the comments here. He overcame endless misery. Serentaneo is a strong man. The poet said it this way. Okay. Your channel should be considered a public utility in this uneducated and forgetful country. Those who know history are king. I vote for you as the official teller of Brazilian truth, so that, who knows, one day we can get out of this mud and chaos. I wish every history teacher gave a class like this, a serious subject with a bit of sarcasm, irony, and comedy. Very good. Well, you are an excellent storyteller as well as historian. Brazil does not care about its underprivileged. I live in a city near Canudos, and it was incredible to see the river that formed in that place. The locals say that it was because of the blood spilled from so many lives lost there. A truly incredible place with so much history. For those who can't be bothered to read that book, which is indeed a demanding book, read this book. It is inspired by the first one, just as long but more palatable. It's a fantastic book. What a wonderful class. Tomorrow I have a project to present about straws, and I feel much more confident after this class. What a pleasure to see you tell stories. Thank you. I was doing a project on the Canudos War, and I found a perfect research. Nowadays, we would he would be called Antonio Coaching. Watching the video in 2020. Okay. Amazing. Man, I'm so ashamed of myself for only finding out about Eduardo Bueno now, which he was my history teacher at school, but here I am learning a lot, late but learning. I mean, yeah, he seems very, very like charismatic, knowledgeable. Seems like a very good channel. We might have checked out some of his other videos, yeah. Glory to God. How wonderful to hear you tell this story. Very cool. Congratulations. This guy I respect. Congratulations. I don't miss an episode. Valuable work is literature. I love the way you talk. History is already fun with my history teacher. With you, it became gossip from the past. I'm going to read the book. Perfect teaching. What a terrible story. Fantastic description. Best teacher. My brother, what a lesson. Let's see some of the newer comments from not 7 years ago. Antonio Consejero was a Christian messianic leader. I read the sermons on the Marian mysteries handwritten by the counselor. The city-state would make it clear how this country is a tax dump. After all this, Gutiérrez ordered the Auralia to be filled with water, and thus it disappeared from history. Good times when the channel made sense. Oh, has the channel shifted? Good times when this channel made sense. It's disrespectful not to know about the war. I'm sorry. My science fair theme, we won first place. Countryman above all, brave man. Thanks. I'm going to take the test now. How wonderful to hear you tell this story. What's the concept of victory? In the book, there was narration of this event. It is the crossing of that. It's true that the troops retreated with 5 casualties, but on the other side, if I'm not mistaken, hundreds were lost, with a very detailed narration of crushing. After reading the book, I will never say that there was victory for the Backlanders. It was a massacre. I mean, it was probably just one continuous massacre after another, right? Until they were all gone. Dude, all we had to do was deliver the wood, nothing else. What was difficult? Yeah, these guys had already paid. It's crazy. It wasn't worth it, right? Like they didn't deliver the wood. All this stemmed from like they ordered delivery of wood so they could build a new church. The wood never came, so they went to complain, and the policemen there, fought back, and there was a conflict. People died all over not on a wood not being delivered. Man. Guys, I don't know about you, but this reminded me of Vietnam versus USA. It was actually like North Vietnam versus South Vietnam or something like that, right? Remember that the US lost support because the people that were not communists, but rather after the casualties. Enough of Antonio and Savior, enough of Antonio Conciertos and Savior myths. In the end, the people die from stray and applied bullets, and everything is left as it is. It's all in good mess. I'm going to complain to this person. I've never seen him fatter. Okay. Thank you so much for posting the video, teacher. All right, let's take a look at the channel. Somebody said like the channel shifted. I don't know. I don't know anything about this channel, so he has gotten much older. He has gotten much older. Does he do like skits now? Brazil, China, and Russia against Trump? I don't know. It's hard to tell exactly what the channel is and what the channel isn't. If we go by popular video, Well, this was his second most popular video here. So it looks like he told history stories, right? And then what it shifted to, I mean, from just like the thumbnail, it looks like he does like commentary and skit stuff, right? Maybe. I don't know. Not sure. But the link to the video will be in the description down below. Interesting, very interesting. Now I have a fully different perspective. And to think like all this stemmed from me wanting to know more, so I could play this game with actual knowledge of what the heck was going on, right? This like weird, twisted, dark fantasy ARPG, which like has like no bearing or connection with anything. Like it's like a think well gosh, what was that game? The roguelike game. Yeah, it's like this. It's like Hades. It's like a Brazilian Hades, but like specifically on this war, I guess. Hmm. Interesting. Very interesting. All right, guys. Thank you for watching. I'll catch you on the next one. Yeah. Take care. Goodbye.